Shruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokasankaram Sadasiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Varyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Now yesterday I made a beginning with the terms darshana and philosophy, and in the course of my explanation I refer to the different definitions of philosophy: philosophy as analysis, philosophy as logical analysis, philosophy as linguistic analysis, philosophy as phenomenology, philosophy as existentialism, philosophy as a deconstruction, and so on. I don't think I have exhausted, but these are the major trends in terms of which philosophers from time to time have tried to understand the meaning of the term philosophy. To add to all these, it has been a convention in recent times to say, I am doing philosophy. I am doing philosophy. I can say I am cooking, I am talking to somebody, I am walking. I am doing philosophy. In fact, in the synopsis which I have given as a supplement, I have given a dialogue. I want you to read it in advance. A dialogue between a contemporary Western philosopher and Adi Shankara. It's an imaginary dialogue. And I have given the title, Doing Philosophy. Because it is always better to be aware of the trends that are available in the West, so that we are not lost when we are in the midst of these people or when we are addressing a Western audience. So I am doing philosophy. Now I am doing philosophy. I am talking about philosophy, meditating on philosophy, sharing my thoughts with you. Therefore I am doing philosophy. Ultimately we would say that does not matter. You can say just Indian philosophy. And then I refer to the problem whether we can call it as a system. Professor Dayakrishna, who is no more, he passed away only a couple of years ago. He would have objections to call philosophy as a system, because system means a set of doctrines or principles combined, related, constituting one whole. That means one can enumerate the number of principles in that system, say 15 principles. Say in the case of Nyaya system, 16 padarthas. It operates within the 16 padarthas, 16 principles, let us say. That means, when you say there are only 16 padarthas and not anymore, it means you have closed the system. We have not kept it open at all. Maybe there is a need for an addition of one padartha or a couple of padarthas later on. Who knows? But if we make it a closed system, saying that these are the principles of this system, it means that you are preventing mentally a future development or a future growth. Only these and so much, nothing more. Why? You prejudge Indian darshanas and say that this particular system we have only so many principles. As one who is interested in the development of philosophical thinking, Daya Krishna therefore would say, no, don't use the word system. That is his argument. A sensible argument which you can understand. But there is a different way in which we can also look at the problem. Whatever changes that have to be made in a philosophical system or into a philosophical system, these changes, these additions can be subsumed under what you have already known. It's quite possible. After all, the addition may be a superficial addition. A careful reading of the principles already accepted may enable you to say, oh, this is not a real addition, this is only another way of conveying what we have already accepted. It all depends. It depends upon the resourcefulness of the person. Now transfer it, it all depends upon the resourcefulness of the system. And the system builders in our tradition are no ordinary system builders. Take Gautamacharya, Nyaya system, or Kapila, Sankhya system. They're all no ordinary people. Today it is our fashion to say something, take it back, and then go to next position. That is what we have been doing. I don't say it is wrong. It only shows that a person has got an open mind. But we can't expect it in the same way with regard to the great system builders in Indian context. In fact, if you ask the question, what exactly is the date of any particular system, any particular darshana, or what exactly is the situation under which a particular system came into existence, it is very difficult to answer. Now we have given some kind of a chronology with regard to the systems. Nyaya, Vaisesika, Sankhya Yoga, Mimamsa, Vedanta. That is how we say. It has become almost a drill, but a drill for no purpose. When a sergeant major is giving drill and practicing drill, I think that he knows what he is doing. You know, one of the most important movies in recent times, Abhim Nano. Occasionally you see some movies, interesting movies which you can enjoy with the family. Abhim Nano. Abhi is the young girl, challenging young girl, enterprising young girl. Nan is the father of Abhi. Abhi very often says that father is very protective. Very protective. It's all right, they are in the lower standards. And then when she goes from the elementary school to the secondary school, all right, I will go. Then he allows the girl to go and then he follows without her knowledge to see whether she has reached the destination. And very often the smart girl would tell her father, I know father, I know what I am doing. I know what I am doing. You see the movie, enjoy it. Now, Gautamacharya knows what he is doing. Kanada knows what he is doing. And Dayakrishna questioned even the order of the sutras in the Nyaya system, even the order. The fourth sutra talks about apavarga. I will come to that later here. Why is it that Gautama has given this sutra which speaks about apavarga, moksha, and the means thereto? Even in the fourth sutra itself, it should come in the last or towards the last. Who is he to ask Gautama? You are now reading his sutras, and they are all in cryptic style, aphoristic style, sutra style. Unless there is a commentator who tells us what a sutra really means, how to understand a sutra, we can't put forth our own wonderful imagination and our own intellect and say, oh, this must be the meaning. No. Allow a bhashyakara to guide you. And he came into the scene for a specific purpose, lest you misunderstand the sutra. He has given the commentary of the sutra. And therefore, even the order, he goes to the extent of questioning. It is really amazing. Maybe he wants to redo the Nyaya Sutras. He wants to rewrite the Nyaya Sutras. That he can do. It will be a scrap of paper, nothing more. What has gone into the thinking of the Gautama Acharya when he has formulated the sutras, that has to be carefully understood. That's why I'm saying that one. Is there any possibility of conjecturing how the sutras were framed in the Indian context? Because every system has got a basic work called the sutra work. Nyaya Sutra, Vaisesika Sutra, Sankhya Sutra, Yoga Sutra, Mimamsa Sutra, Vedanta Sutra. Each system has got a basic philosophical work. That is what we call the sutra work. Composed by an Acharya, respected Acharya. And is it that all of a sudden Gautama Acharya thought that he can compose the Nyaya Sutras? No, it was not like that, we are told. From the Vedic times, philosophical ideas were available. They were discussed, rediscussed, defined, modified, altered. So much of thinking and debate has gone among the scholars, and at a particular stage, some thinkers who belong to a particular kind of thinking, who held a particular kind of thinking, thought that we should have to summarize the ideas to which we are committed. Somebody came, Nyaya Sutra, sutras were composed. There is so much of system, so much of order, so much of thinking that has gone into the composition of the sutras, whatever may be the system. It is not like I am writing an article today, enjoy. Tomorrow, when there is some criticism, I change it again. Let me give you an example. Very interesting. With regard to Bertrand Russell. Have you heard of Bertrand Russell? One of the most original thinkers we had in philosophy is Bertrand Russell. He has been the teacher of even Wittgenstein for some time. And then Wittgenstein subsequently was his teacher. If only Russell had the benefit of the Mimamsa tradition, just as Kumarila embraced Prabhakara, admiring the way in which he has given an interpretation at a particular context and said that you are really a guru. Therefore, there came into existence Guru Mata, Prabhakara Mata, Guru Mata. Similarly, Russell would have embraced Wittgenstein, saying, you are really my teacher. But the relationship was so intimate. And when Wittgenstein wanted to publish his Tractatus, no publisher was forthcoming to publish the great Tractatus. Today it is a great Tractatus. They said, no, we don't know who we are. Who are you? How can we publish? It's a question of investment of money. You know. And then he has to get a foreword from Russell for his Tractatus. Then it was published. That is the way the scholarly world today is moving on. You send a manuscript, best manuscript to Oxford University Press, they will say no. You send it with a recommendation, they will say we will consider. You persist on that with some more references, some more people. They say that yes, now we will refer your script for blind reference to two experts. Let them give their opinion. We will come back to you. Then they say finally, yes, opinion is favorable. But even then we will edit. Publishing house has got a policy. We will edit. Are they agreeable? If you say agreeable, then they will take it up. Because for uniformity of style and all that one, the volume has to be edited by their own editors. This is a procedure. Such a procedure also should have been prevalent at the time when the Sutra literature came into existence. Imagine, if this is the case today, with regard to thinkers, momentary thinkers, we are all momentary thinkers. Thinkers for the time being, all right. I will make some adjustment in my thinking. Will that satisfy you, sir? Oh, if you say yes, okay. Adjustment, after all. Such adjustments even Russell made. Once, Russell went into the classroom with the intention, with the resolve, that they will give a set of arguments to prove the non-existence of God. That was his resolve. It is in writing. In one of the letters which he wrote to his friend, this is what he has said. And then, in fact, he said, today this is the topic I am going to cover. And then he went on lecturing. And then he found that he was not doing the job. He was not satisfied with his own presentation of arguments to prove the non-existence of God. Then he came out, but he was cheerful. All right, I wanted to give a set of arguments, I did not succeed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So he went with the resolve to formulate a set of arguments to prove the non-existence of God. He did not succeed. He came out. Then he said, doesn't matter. So it is not a matter of great concern for him whether God exists or whether God doesn't exist. He made an attempt, he did not succeed. He realized that he did not succeed. He wrote a letter to his friend. This is with that intention I went to the classroom. But unfortunately, I did not succeed. But it doesn't matter. I'm not worried at all. So Russell is not worried whether he can prove the existence of God or not. Proving or non-proving is another issue. It doesn't matter whether God exists or not. Can you imagine such an attitude with regard to the Sutrakaras? And then how is it that the great Indian Pitamaha, philosophical Pitamaha, Krishna, he used to say, I used to tell him, you are a Pitamaha. Very provocative thinker. Some said he is a Socrates of Indian philosophy. Little too much. A provocative thinker, because once he said that he will frame as many as 200 questions, and if there are answers for 200 questions in Vaisesika's Nyaya Bhashya, Nyaya Sutra Bhashya, Vaisesika is the commentator, Gautama is the Nyaya Sutra Acharya, Vaisesika. If there are satisfactory answers for those 200 questions, I will say I will tick it off. Yes, it's a good book. Otherwise, no. So he will frame 200 questions, and then there should be proper answers in Vaisesika's commentary. You look at his expectation. He must understand, reinterpret his understanding. We should not blame Vaisesika, the Bhashyakara. So, now from this you imagine how much of time should have taken place for the formulation of the sutras. They say that ideas were there, because you can't debate and debate and debate. And then finally it has taken in a crystallized form. And therefore some came forward to compose these sutras, Nyaya Sutras, Vaisesika Sutras. And then even the Vaisesika Sutras are said to be earlier than the Nyaya Sutras. There is another controversy. I am not going into all those issues. What I am telling is that the tradition, the philosophical tradition in India developed after a long debate among scholars, and then they said that a particular kind of thinking constituting a set of ideas form a system, and therefore you have got a particular system called Nyaya system. You have got the basic work in Nyaya Sutras, Vaisesika, then Sankhya, Yoga, and in the case of Vedanta, we have got the Vedanta Sutras, written by Vyasa, also identified with Badarayana. It's a controversy sometimes. Badarayana is the author of the Vedanta Sutras and not Vyasa. All right, what does it matter? We have got the Brahma Sutras. If you say Badarayana is the author, accept Badarayana. Same Vyasa. Is it the same Vyasa which we know? Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya, Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave. Is it? Maybe the same. May not be the same. We are getting into the question about various other issues which are to me a little irrelevant. We are not debating on the identity of the other, whether Badarayana and Vyasa are identical or not. Yes, identical or not identical. But in the sutras, they are very important. The message that the sutras convey, that is very important. That is what those who are interested in the interpretation, the discipline of interpretation is saying. See, take Yarana, who passed away recently. He lived for 102 years, the author of only one book, Truth and Method. If a person has attained a great reputation in the discipline called hermeneutics, the method of interpretation, textual interpretation. And we have textual interpretation, we believe in that. And I will tell you subsequently that the whole of Indian philosophy developed through the commentarial tradition. Commentarial tradition. And every commentator is a creative, original thinker. As original, as creative as the person on whose work he is commenting. Gautama is a creative thinker. Vatsyayana, the Bhashyakara, is a creative thinker. Udyodhakara, Purobha Vartika is a creative thinker. Then you got the Tattparya Tika, Vachaspati, creative thinker. Then Parisuddhi, am I right? 5? Sutra, Bhashya, Vartika, Tattparya Tika, Tattparya Parisuddhi. Enough for several of our lifetimes, not one lifetime. Rich treasure. And then there are subsequently different kinds of interpretative works. Every one is original and creative. I am mentioning this for this reason. There is often the criticism not only coming from the West, criticism of our own people. Indian philosophy is not really creative. It is not progressive. Look at the West. Then they say that what I told you. Forget about philosophy of Socrates and Plato and Aristotle. Then medieval period. Come to the modern period. Rationalists. Then empiricists. Kant, Hegel, Marx. Oh. Every time such a thinker emerges, there is a milestone. Progress is there. Now you go on repeating, and you say that there is this commentary. Commentary only repeats the original. Another commentary and the commentary, again it is the same thing. The passenger Mahava Pasayaradumbala. This is what you are doing. How can philosophy progress in India? This is a criticism. Our own academics, for a long time, because they are not familiar, they are not grounded in the texts. And then they used to make this kind of an objection. But what is the progress that has been made in the Western philosophical thinking? What is the progress? A great Western philosopher, a contemporary, collaborated with Russell by name Whitehead. Russell, his collaborator, Whitehead, A.M. Whitehead. Together they collaborate Mathematica. What is called modern logic or mathematical logic, symbolic logic, that came into existence as a result of the collaborative work of Russell and Whitehead. Their work is called Principia Mathematica, Principles of Mathematics. Now Whitehead subsequently developed his philosophical thinking, reality and process, very much liked by the theologians. It's called a process theory, process philosophy. He did not make use of his logic at all, principles of logic. You cannot find any trace of this kind of logic in his own work, in spite of his having written, along with Russell, Principia Mathematica. So logic is necessary. This is a lesson that we have to learn. Logic is necessary, but not sufficient. And in the Indian tradition, logic has never been ignored. Generally we say that Tarka Shastra and Vyakarana, they are the Samanya Shastras. Everybody has to study. And so, If you look at the commentarial tradition, I gave the example with regard to the Nyaya. Take the case of Vedanta, Advaita. There is a Sutra, there is a Bhashya, there is a Vartika, then there are further commentaries on the Vartika. It goes on like that. Then we have got the Vivarna tradition and the Bhavati tradition. How much each has contributed. So also in the Mimamsa. Now, therefore this kind of criticism, what is the criticism I have been referring to? Indian philosophy is not progressive, it's not creative, it's not critical, goes on repeating, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Nitya, Jivo, Brahma Ivan Aparaha. We go on repeating, as if it is not enough, I do it in Madras, I come and do it here itself. Now Whitehead, in one of his books he says, the entire Western philosophy, from the time of Plato, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, medieval period, modern period, and then contemporary period, the entire Western philosophy is nothing but footnotes, is nothing but a series of footnotes. Somebody said, see, they are not able to see what I write. A series of footnotes to what Plato and Aristotle wrote. They are only writing footnotes. This is a statement from Whitehead. H-E-A-D. Whitehead. And therefore, he says, every Western philosopher is either a Platonian or an Aristotelian. Either he follows the pathway of Plato or the pathway of Aristotle. There is no third pathway. You have made some fringe additions here and there. Basically, Plato is Plato. Aristotle is Aristotle. Do you discredit the statement of Whitehead? Our Indian critics, whose even one-page writing will not be taken care of in any Western journal. They say, oh, they are very progressive. They are evaluating. They are evaluating our system vis-a-vis the Western system. They say, look at that picture and look at this picture. Very dismal, not progressive. Because you just go on all the time referring to your Upanishads and all that one. At the most, in the case of the Nyaya system, you say, oh, there is logic and all that one. What about Navi Nyaya? It is very sophisticated. The logic is sophisticated. Then we have got further development of synthesis of the two. Oh, at the most, we are prepared to accept Nyaya system as a philosophical system. What about other systems? Only theology, mysticism. A great Westerner, reputed Westerner, came to India, became a sadhu, spent most of his time in Benares, Swami Advaita-vedanta Bharati. He came all the way here, was so much impressed by the Indian philosophical climate and all that one, became a sadhu, full-fledged sannyasi, Swami Advaita-vedanta Bharati. He taught in the University of Syracuse, I believe. And then he says, excepting for the Nyaya, there is only one exception, Ravi. Madam, only one exception. Excepting for the Nyaya, the entire Western philosophy, entire Indian philosophy is only theology and mysticism. He has downgraded theology also, because he teaches with contempt that theology. He cannot speak like that in a divinity school in the US. Harvard Divinity School, suppose he says, oh, only theology. He'll be sent out immediately. It's not a very cheap subject, theology, because you say theology. It's a study about God. So he came and declared only Tarka is philosophy proper, because we have to show the testimonials. Yeah, Prachina Nyaya and Navya Nyaya and then the syncretist Nyaya. So much work is there. It's a rigorous logic. You can compare it with your Aristotelian syllogism and all that. All right. Yeah, there is a rigorous logic in Nyaya system. What about other systems? Theology, mysticism. Because immediately they talk about Moksha Shastra. It is anything but the truth. That is because our own academics in the philosophy departments, they did not study the Indian texts at all. There were great pundits even at the time. They will not go because of the Western education, British education. They were acquainted with the rationalists, the empiricists, Kant, Hegel, and then subsequently logical empiricists came into the situation, logical empiricists. Nyaya. This is a small book, Truth, Logical Language. It is almost like a gospel. Every scholar will be carrying a copy of the book. Logical empiricism. It is almost a forgotten chapter in the history of Western philosophy today. Nobody would seriously say, I'm doing this kind of logical empiricism. No. The great cyclone came in the continental thinking, like existentialism. And whenever he sees any passage from Sartre, he will give a long passage, either from Sartre or from Heidegger. Look at this passage. Does it make sense? No. It will not make sense because you don't have the background. You give the smallest Upanishad Isavasya to somebody, even the first mantra they will stumble. And then as they go, they will say that it's full of contradictions. Full of contradictions. He says only God is far away, God is very near, God is the biggest, the infinite, the most infinite, and it is the smallest. How can one and the same entity be big and small, far and near? What more proof you want? Okay? Such a criticism has been leveled even by a person like Sri Aurobindo, because he did not like Advaita. Sri Aurobindo was wondering how Shankara would be able to write a commentary on the Isavasya Upanishad. He has already written. How is it he could write? And I told earlier here in this hall, according to Sri Aurobindo, it's a great thinker. Somebody said he is working on Antony. Eh? You are working. Sharyan, comparative study of Sharyan and he is an evolutionist. Shankara said, Aurobindo said, he is in writing, in print available. Ishvara laughed at Shankara 3 times. He laughed at Shankara 3 times. What are the 3 occasions when he laughed at Shankara? Once, being a Jnana Yogian, he was always moving from place to place. Padayatra he was doing. A Jnani should be rooted in one place. Why should he be moving like a Karma Yogian from place to place? Ishvara could not understand. When we don't understand anything, we laugh at something. We simply, and I have a secretary, Jayanti. She came last time. And different occasions, she will laugh in different ways. வேண்டாம்னா ஒரு திசா இருக்கும், வேணும்னா ஒரு திசா இருக்கும். I hope some of you can understand. I used to enjoy. From the way in which she laughs, you can understand whether it is acceptance or rejection, whatever it may be. So, Ishvara, he laughed at Shankara. You are being a Jnana Yogin, instead of being rooted in one place, you are moving from place to place like a Karma Yogin. Karma Yogin can do. But remember, Sri Aurobindo was a Karma Yogin. He was rooted in Pondicherry. He did not know at all. Look at the contradiction. And now Shankara should come and tell Sri Aurobindo, look Sri Aurobindo, I admire you. And your Karma Yoga is, I to accept, it is a basis for the Jnana Yoga. We like the ladder theory. There is nothing wrong, ladder theory. You can't straight away go to Jnana Yoga. You start from Karma Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. There is nothing wrong. This is what we call the ladder theory. That's why we have got the question about the eligibility and all that one. Don't be in a hurry. Not that you must pack off everything else. Only when you say that I have completely finished Karma Yoga, I am going to take. There is no such a territory ending. This is the territory of Karma Yoga, then begins Bhakti Yoga, then begins. No, that is not the case. What we mean is, a good foundation is necessary, that is provided by Karma Yoga. Even at the time you can develop Bhakti Yoga and then also Jnana Yoga. But full Jnana Yoga, you wait till the 18th chapter, the Bhagavad Gita, then you get the fruition. Every now and then say, there are texts which will tell you all the three are necessary, all the three are necessary. So, that is the first laughter of Sri Aurobindo. Second time, when he wrote the commentary on the Isavasa Upanishad, he thought that Isavasa Upanishad goes against Advaita. Against Advaita, Isavasa Upanishad. According to Sri Aurobindo, Isavasa Upanishad is one such a small Upanishad whose teaching is opposed to Advaita. That is he thought. So, why do you write your commentary on the Isavasa Upanishad? It is ridiculous, ununderstandable. Many people seem to think like that. That's why when I find somebody reading Isavasa Upanishad casually in the plane, I say, what are you reading? Isavasa Upanishad. What is your background? No, I'm interested in the Vedanta. You don't understand. I can't tell him openly. He will push me out. It is a problem in the aircraft. Oh, really? It will be very difficult for you. You have got any background, no. Otherwise, it may appear to be a bundle of contradictions. But anyway, make an attempt. I appreciate you. I encourage you. I sit by him as a good neighborly person. Second time, laughter. Third time, being a sannyasi. He decided, when there was no cooperation for the cremation of his mother, he promised he would be there with her at the time. He came, and then others did not cooperate with him. And then they said that no, being a sannyasi, he should not do that one. And it's not a question which you and I can debate. And then he said, no, I am the only son, and then probably I got every right. He did that. And therefore, that was the third occasion for Aurobindo to laugh at Shankara. Being a sannyasi, he violated the rules of the sannyasi. He was never a sannyasi. Aurobindo was never a sannyasi. And only here I can tell you, he used to sit with a long cigar in the Aurobindo ashram and meditate like that. One's mother, it is recorded, one's mother went there. If you do like that one, for you it is all right. But when others come and see you, they think that everybody should smoke. Have a cigar. Stop it. You stop immediately. What I say is in record. Stop. He had that will. When mother told him, when the mother, no, not the, I'm not referring to the biological mother, the great mystic who was in ashram. Now, the reason why I'm telling is that all these people, the Sutrakara, the Bhashyakara, the Vartikakara, the Tikakara, how many Tikakaras? All of them. They have enriched our tradition, not only every tradition. Take Vaisesika Veda. Take the Vaishnava Sampradaya. Madam Usha gave me a copy of the book, the Vaishnava Sampradaya. Are they repeating? No. Everybody is making slight adjustments of the basic doctrines. And then there is progress. And they take into consideration the present situation, the needs of the people. Take, for example, the Chinmaya institution. So the point which I want to drive home here is that if there is a kind of a thinking among scholars, among students of philosophy, particularly the Indian philosophical community, that Indian philosophy is not progressive, is not creative, but it is only repetitive. I think it is just a prejudice because of lack of acquaintance with the tradition. You read the tradition, if you can read the text with a commentary, sitting with the teacher, sitting under the guidance of the teacher doesn't matter. I won't bother about the preposition. But if you study the text with the help of a teacher, then you can see the light. Otherwise, no. Mere dictionary will not help you to understand. Let me give one more illustration. This took place in Banaras Hindu University. It was reported by K. Shivaraman, Professor Shivaraman, who is no more. He was teaching he went from Banaras to Prof University in Canada. He said, an American scholar came to Banaras to study Brahma Sutra. Yet I want to bring out an original interpretation, translation of Brahma Sutra. All right. He has done one or two courses in Sanskrit. That is his great achievement. A couple of courses in Sanskrit. I am going to translate. So, first sutra, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Ataha Brahma Jigyasa. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. He had a good lexicon with him. Atha, he found the meaning of the word. Directly it's there. Ataha, I don't think with the visarga it will be there. I must check my memory. Anyhow, he got the meaning. Brahma Jigyasa is a samastapada. The word is not there. And then he stopped his translation. 2 or 3 days later, first he had a promise, I will be able to cover at least 15 aphorisms, this and that. And then he went back to him, Shivaraman, what's the progress you have made? I am still in the first sutra. Now, what is the difficulty? In the first sutra, the first 2 words I could translate with the help of the lexicon. Brahma Jigyasa I don't find. He will stop. Look at the scholarship of the people with the 2 courses of Sanskrit they do or 2 courses of Tamil they do, and they say, I am doing research here in the Divya Prabandham, Nammalva or Samadaralva or Trivachakam, or they take some text. If nothing is available, Pangani Uttaram festival they will document. Pangani, you know, Madurai Pangani Uttaram or Aruvathimun Nayanmar festival in Madras, they come and then videograph the whole thing. They write the biography of these 53 Nayanmars. Some of them are mystical, some of them are historical figures. And then they produce the document and all that one, their PhD is awarded. And our scholar goes there and then I am doing Asian Studies program is available there. Asian Studies program is available. And then they say that, they said that they send me back after doing some coursework, find out some festival, and then you take your documentary, prepare that, then that will be and then we don't have time to read our text, and we are already content, our mind has been spoiled, so this is the status. So, then there was a question, why is it has been arranged in this way, Nyaya, Vaisesika, Sankhya Yoga, Mimamsa, Vedanta? Because historically we are not sure about the date, the timing. Then how is it that in every textbook, most of the textbooks, you find after the general introduction and all that one, then there is the Nyaya system, then Buddhism, Jainism, all that is over. Then when they come to the Sad-darsanas, the āstika-darsanas, first Nyaya, Vaisesika, I think only Dasgupta first discusses Vaisesika, then he comes to Nyaya and all that one. Why is it? What is the justification? It is an important question. I have an answer for that question. Usually, our day-to-day experience is such that we experience a plurality of things. Take a child, how the child enjoys a plurality of playthings. This is one thing, that is another thing, that is another thing, that is another thing. And therefore, in our experience, we see a plurality of things surrounding us. So, to start with plurality, and it is a fact, and it is that which calls for an explanation. This is the great message that Shankara conveys through his Advaita-vedanta. He doesn't start with the first sutra. He doesn't tell anything about Brahman. Brahman can wait. What is urgently needed is to look into ourselves as the jivas, look at the world, what we do, what do I think, how do I do, all that is needed. Therefore he wrote the Advaita-vedanta. Because philosophy should start with here itself in this world, with all the jivas and the plurality of things. Beginning, he talks about the distinction. The philosophy which is intended to convey the truth of non-duality starts with the distinction between you and I. Yusmat asmat pratyaya gocharayoho, vishaya vishayanoho, tam prakasavati, etc. You and I. Vishaya and Vishayi. What do I do? How there is such a thing called adhyasa? So, it is but proper to begin with the pluralism. And Nyaya is a pluralistic system. Why is it that even though Vaisesika is said to be senior to Nyaya, why is it that Nyaya, Vaisesika, we don't say Vaisesika Nyaya, Nyaya Vaisesika, Samana-tantras, allied systems. Vaisesika accepts 16 padarthas, 1-6. Vaisesika, 6 bhava padarthas and 1 negative entity abhava padartha. Everything, am I right? 6 plus 1, 7. Saptapadarthi, there is a text. So, from 16 to 7. Then from 7, Sankhya, only 2, Purusha and Prakriti. There may be a plurality of Purushas, that is different issue. Ultimately, there are only two entities. One is Purusha, the other is Prakriti. They are two independent realities. Nevertheless, now compromise. Nevertheless, they have to interact with each other. Only as a result of the interaction, the evolution of the world can take place. Two ultimate entities, Purusha is totally different from Prakriti, and vice versa. Purusha is intelligent, Prakriti is insentient. Purusha is inactive, Prakriti is active. Even though the two are incompatible, still somehow, we don't know how. It is there we have to raise the great philosophical question. In a particular stage, every philosopher must say, I don't know. I don't know. How is it that there is sambandha between Maya and the Nirguna Brahman? Can you spell out? No. We give some explanation. That is anadi, this is anadi. Between two anadi substances, don't ask the relation. Because I say it's anadi. Why do you say it is anadi? Why do you say Brahman is anadi? Maya is anadi. There are 6 entities which are anadi for the doyen. Shadasmakam anadi. 6 of them are anadi. We give you a list. Otherwise, Shankara cannot work out a philosophy and show here is a philosophy. You want a philosophy? We want a philosophy to transcend philosophy. That's why yesterday, repeatedly I was telling, philosophy, we have to, philosophy, strictly speaking, is beyond ontotheology, beyond metaphysics, beyond logic, beyond theology, beyond ethics. You have to go beyond. To go beyond, first you must start somewhere. Somewhere with this world, somewhere with you. So, every philosophical system at a particular stage will have a fundamental problem. This is the case with the Western philosophy. They said the moment they talk about the creation of the world, they have to give the arguments. Look at the arguments. All the arguments are weak, which they can be exposed. Udayana has given formulated arguments, better way than the Western philosophers. So, the normal procedure is from pluralism to monism. So, from 16 categories of the Nyaya to 7 categories of the Vaisesika, then to 2 of the Sankhya, 2 of the Sankhya. Yoga accepts basically the same thing, excepting for introduction of God as an object of meditation. The metaphysics of the yoga is the same as the metaphysics of the Sankhya. Sankhya accepts the discipline of the yoga. Then Mimamsa, Vedanta. Mimamsa has got its own metaphysics, epistemology, pramanas, all of them. But all of them are utilized for the purpose of the interpretation of one section of the Veda. Then Vedanta. Vedanta, you have got what is called one reality. All the Vedantins accept that one reality. Absolutely no difference of opinion. There is only one reality. The remaining entities, they are Paratantra. Either as the body of the law or as an entity which is dependent upon the law, Paratantra. They don't have independent existence. So, the 3 major Vedanta systems, Advaita, Visishtadvaita, Advaita, even though Visishtadvaita, Advaita are pluralistic in one way, they do accept the concept of the one God, one Brahman, which is Swatantra in the language of Vedic. Whereas all the other entities are Paratantra, dependent on Brahman. That one entity which is independent, that one entity which is the Antaryami, that one entity which we the Advaitins say that it is Nirguna Brahman, Tadekam, on that the Vedanta is synonymous. But still we quarrel, that is for some other issue. So, if you ask the reason why this kind of a classification, because you asked yesterday, it was an important question, I would have missed it but for your questioning. So, this is the reason, and therefore the thought that when we classify, it should be in a rational way we classify, because we don't want to be dogmatic. That must be a reason. The reason is from the journey from pluralism to monism. We don't reverse and say from monism to pluralism. No. That is not in our experience. Supposing I show you a number of articles of furniture. And they are very attractive. Each piece is attractive. Like the rafters here in the yellow. Somebody must draw your attention to that. Look at that. As it comes down, look at the lion or the elephant, and what is the image that is carved in. One is not repeated in the other, in the other, in the other. The problem. So, the philosophical system proceeds in this way, from pluralism to monism, and therefore we have this kind of an arrangement of philosophical systems: Nyaya, Vaisesika, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa. Sometimes we say long name, Purva Mimamsa, earlier Mimamsa. Just if you say Mimamsa, means only this Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa. We don't, Uttara Mimamsa we can say, or Jnana Mimamsa we can say, just we say Vedanta. Vedanta has so many subdivisions, major subdivisions 3, Advaita, Visishta Advaita, Dvaita. Even though there are 3 subdivisions, still they adhere to the basic principle, namely that there is only one Brahman. One Brahman. And the rest of them, they can be related to Brahman as the body of Brahman or as the dependent entities of Brahman, Paratantra objects, but ultimately there is only one entity which is real, which is supreme, that is Brahman. I'll stop here. And when we meet in the afternoon, I will have to ask me some questions. Think about the problems. Then we'll begin. Okay? You think and tell me. Thank you. Any questions at this stage? Swamiji? Okay.
You were telling pluralism to monism.
Huh?
Pluralism to monism. What about the yoga and the Mimamsa? How one can?
I said, yoga accepts the 2 entities of the Sankhya, Purusha and Prakriti. The metaphysics of the system, metaphysics, it is a discipline in which we talk about the number of entities. Sankhya accepts only 2 entities, ultimate principles, Purusha and Prakriti. The same 2 are accepted by the yoga system. And with regard to the Mimamsa, the importance is not given, that's why I did not stress that one. The importance is not given to the number of categories it accepts, the number of pramanas it accepts. That is metaphysics. That is what we call traditionally prameya vichara. I did not so far use that expression. Metaphysics, supposing you want a corresponding expression in our tradition, prameya vichara. Prameya is an object of knowledge. Prameya vichara. People at the back say that they find it difficult to, in the white, even though the board is white, there is carry a lot of reflection on that. And suggestion was that if the board is black and if I write with a white pencil, it may be, I don't know. But anyhow, they have the contrast, black and white. Prameya vichara, in simple language metaphysics. Pramana vichara, that is the logic and epistemology. Pramana, sources of knowledge. You are also studying that. Pramana. Pramana is a source of knowledge. Pramana, vichara is inquiry. That suffix is very important. That is to say that our philosophy is inquiry. Vichara Shastra. If you want, supposing I put in the timetable, Vichara, a course on Vichara Shastra, nobody will come to the department. Nobody will come. Vichara Shastra. So there are three kinds of inquiry that we have in philosophy. One is Pramana Vichara. Order it should be like that. Better to start with Pramana Vichara, Prameya Vichara, and Purushartha Vichara. Purushartha Vichara. Inquiry into the value system. Purushartha is value. So we say Purushartha, value system. So there are three kinds of inquiry. Supposing you do not want a separate discussion about that, this can be subsumed under Prameya Vichara. But if you want to separate it, you can say it is a logic and epistemology, Pramana Vichara. Metaphysics is Prameya Vichara. And then inquiry into the value system. That will also include a highest value moksha. This is Purushartha Vichara. Now, when you take Mimamsa, I am answering that question. When you take Mimamsa, Mimamsa has got metaphysics. There is Prameya Vichara. There is also Pramana Vichara. Very good. But the purport of the whole system is to make use of Pramana Vichara and Prameya Vichara finally for the interpretation of the Vedic text. The same thing is the case with regard to the Vedanta, interpretation of the Vedic text. And in the Vedic text, it's a complicated text. Conveniently, we divide into two. One portion dealing with rituals, one portion dealing with knowledge. It's a simple classification. One portion is called Karma Kanda. The other portion is called Jnana Kanda. Don't complicate it, simple. Ritual section, ritual part, Karma Kanda. This is knowledge part, Jnana Kanda. Now Mimamsa is so much interested in the ritual part. But don't think on that account that therefore Advaita is not interested. No. The whole book is needed. The entire Veda is needed. But the emphasis may be on one rather than on the other. The Mimamsa system is so concerned with the ritual portion of the Veda, Karma Kanda. Sometimes it is called Purva Kanda, earlier portion. Karma Kanda, Purva Kanda, and Jnana Kanda, the second part, Jnana Kanda, Uttara Kanda. Therefore, the inquiry into the earlier part, Mimamsa is inquiry. The inquiry into the Karma Kanda portion, that is taken care of by the Mimamsa system. But doesn't mean that immediately they go to the rituals, interpretation of the statements and all that one. There is a base, metaphysical base, epistemological base. With that they try to understand the whole thing. Same thing is with regard to the Vedanta, Uttara Mimamsa. So, we are not so much concerned, that's why I did not spell out. If you spell out, it will be almost like the Nyaya Vaisesika system. with slight differences. Pramanas, Nyaya, only 4 pramanas. Prabhakara of Mimamsa, 5 pramanas. First 4 pramanas, but this is usually the way in which we say. But there is no necessity we have to say like that. First, Pratyaksha. Then Anumana. Anumana is inference. Then comparison, analogy we say. Upamana we say. 4th, Shabda. This is usually the order. And then the 5th one is added by the Mimamsakas, Prabhakara Mimamsakas, that is Arthapati or postulation. So 4 plus 1 now, postulation. And then the Bhatta Mimamsakas add one more, Anupalabdhi. So altogether by the time we come to the Bhatta school of the Mimamsa, we come to have 6 pramanas. Charvaka only 1 pramana. Buddhism only 2 pramanas. Similarly, Vaisesika only 2 pramanas. Jainism 3 pramanas. Nyaya 4 pramanas. Vaisesika already I told you only 2 pramanas. Sankhya 3 pramanas. Salsa Yoga. Prabhakara Mimamsa 5 pramanas. And the Bhatta Mimamsakas 6 pramanas. And that way then also accept 6 pramanas. We follow the lead of Kumarila Bhatta. Vyavahare Bhattanayaha. In empirical matters generally, we follow the lead given by Kumarila Bhatta. Not in everything. Wherever it is convenient and acceptable, we follow. Otherwise, we have our own way. Have I answered your question? Somebody? I'll stand here because I don't see your face.
So, one question is now mentioned that Vaisesika follows only 2 pramana, Pratyaksha and Anuman.
Which one? Vaisesika, right.
So, but how do you explain that, in the first chapter itself they are talking about calmness, and in the 6th chapter they are talking about Ved when they are talking about, the dana and other stuff. So, which is referring to Veda and Brahman Granthas. So, why they are saying that Vaisesika only follows the first 2 pramana and not the Shabda pramana?
Now, strictly speaking, Shabda, the problem is with regard to Shabda, let us say. Shabda Pramana. I am not getting into the distinction between 2 kinds of Shabda Pramana, Laukika and Alaukika, no. Just to take Shabda Pramana. Shabda. Now you ask me a question, I could hear you. This is the auditory sense. Through my ears, auditory sense, I grasp what you utter. The stimulus came to me, I interpreted it, and I understood the question. So, I heard what you said, and therefore I have what is called perceptual knowledge. The term perceptual knowledge is used generally with regard to that kind of knowledge obtained through the mediation of a sense organ. Through the mediation of a sense organ. I require the help of a sense organ to see you, my visual sense. To hear what you utter, auditory sense. And therefore, whatever is seen by the eye, it is perception. I have got perceptual knowledge of the table, perceptual knowledge of a figure when you stood up. When you spoke something, I grasped what you said. Therefore, I have got also, hearing is perceptual knowledge. And if that is the case, what is called Shabda can be subsumed under perception. Whether it is a Laukika Shabda or Vaidika Shabda, Laukika Shabda, ordinary Shabda, ordinary utterance. Vaidika Shabda is a scriptural utterance. And therefore it is grasped. It doesn't require a separate pramana. Perception will do. What else is that question that you asked?
Yeah, so in that case, there won't be any existence of Shabda Pramana this logic is accepted?
There is no existence of, the system doesn't accept Shabda Pramana as a separate Pramana. There is no need.
So Shabda Pramana is included in Pratyaksha,
Yeah.
taken as Pratyaksha.
So, there is no need for multiplying the Pramanas. That is what is called the principle of economy. Principle of economy. If two Pramanas can account for every piece of knowledge that we have, why add more? Principle of economy. In Sanskrit we say Laghava, the principle of Laghava. Am I right? Right. Laghava or Gaurava? Laghava, the principle of economy, minimum, accepting minimum, in science accepting minimum hypothesis, not more than what is required. Therefore, two will do.
I have a related question. I was just reading the text, which is circulated. You classified, Vedic philosophy, orthodox schools in two parts. One which is directly based on Vedic text, and the second one which is independent. And you included Vaisesika, Sankhya, etc., yoga and independence. So that does it mean that again the same two places where the Vaisesika is referring again to Ved, Nyaya and Brahman?
Yeah.
Why do you call it independent, though they are referring to the same Vedic system?
For building the Sankhya system, the problem now starts with the Sankhya. For building the Sankhya system, there is no need to quote any scriptural position. There is no need to quote any scriptural position because it proceeds on the basis of acceptance of only two entities, ultimate principles. The self and the material stuff out of which the evolution has taken place. There is a spirit, and sometimes they simplify by saying that there are two entities, spirit, capital S, and matter. Spirit is called Purusha, that primordial matter, that original stuff, out of which evolution has taken place. That primordial matter is called Prakriti. There is a material entity. Every material evolute that we see could be traced to one source. I was giving the example of multiple objects of furniture. I can count and say there are 64 chairs in this room. Let us say wooden chairs. How many? I can answer by saying 64. I counted. But I asked Subramanian to count. He said that, sir, there is only one entity. All of them are made of, let us say, plastic. All of them are made of wood of a particular type. Therefore, there is only one entity, the material stuff, out of which all the 64 chairs have been carved. My answer is right. His answer is equally right. That is more intelligent. More intelligent. Similarly, there are multiple objects that we see in the world. The Sankhya system traces all of them to one entity, that is Prakriti, material stuff. And then you are a living being, I am a living being, and then a living being, Jiva, is called here Purusha, let us say. So, we belong to one category of Purusha. Sir, still, well, don't you think that I am different from you, you are different from your neighbor and all that one? Yes, we are aware of the distinction. But essentially we are one. Though non-essentially, therefore we make a distinction between what is essential and what is not essential. Philosophy is always proceeds by means of this classification. Essentially, in you there is a spirit, in me there is a spirit. That is mind. My mind functioning is different from yours. So two minds are different. Our senses are different. Our body is different. And therefore these condition all these, mind, body, senses, all of them condition the self. So the self or the Purusha conditioned by a plurality of things in me, reckoned always as one. I am one Purusha. I am different from you. Therefore, there is a plurality of Purushas. Similarly, there are a plurality of evolutes. So, from that perspective, the Sankhya system is pluralistic. From another perspective, it is a dualistic. So, to establish this kind of dualism, we don't require the help of Shruti. The help of Shruti. In this context, I just quote a statement that may be very helpful even when we study Advaita. When a question is asked, what is it you do in Advaita? You can ask that question to me or to Revati or to Swamiji here. What is this Advaita you are doing? Really, do you give explanation of the non-dual reality? Is it possible? Yesterday I referred to the difficulties we are having, both with language and with mind. Yesterday you were present. I said that quoted a text, often quoted text. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaka. That is the limitation of language, there is the limitation of the mind. Now Vachaspati therefore answers the question. Somebody asked, imagine, asked Vachaspati, what is it you are doing? Mr. Vachaspati, tell me. Vedam, na abedam brumaha, vedam pradishedamaha. Substantially the same I am quoting. Na abedam brumaha, vedam pradishedamaha. I am not trying to prove abeda, non-duality. What I am interested in is in disproving plurality. Vedam pradishedamaha. Any pluralistic system that comes before me, I will demolish it. Once it is demolished, what remains is Advaita. So Advaita need not be proved. It is as good as proved. Just as a foundation for a building, the foundation of a building need not be proved. If you look at a superstructure, you see the superstructure, you take it for granted that that is the foundation supporting the superstructure. I don't think anybody will seriously insist on, oh yes, I see the superstructure, I would like to see whether it has got a foundation or not. We will just ignore that question. It is not only a nonsensical question, it is a nonsensical question on stilts. It's a nonsense erected on the stilts, stilts, the long legs of which you can do the comic figures from Poverty. Stilt, S-T-I-L-T. I hope I am using the correct word. It's a nonsense on stilts. You want to show how powerful, how great this nonsense is. You put it in the tower top so that people can witness that one. So he says that there is no need, just as you have the foundation of a building, foundations of the building need not be proved. It is as good as proved because you see the superstructure. So Vachaspati says, my only endeavor in all that I write is not established non-duality, but I am interested only in disproving duality. Na bedam brumaha, kintu bedam pradishedamaha. So, we don't require the help of scripture at all to prove this kind of a dualistic metaphysics. Dualistic cum pluralistic metaphysics. Do you follow me? You may agree with me or not, it doesn't matter. This is the point. Where scripture is needed, we have to invoke the need of scripture. Shankara is very clear. I don't require the help of scripture to know that this is an object here. that fire is hot and that ice is cold need not be proved by scripture. There is a statement to that effect. Shankara's statement. There is no need. We should not invoke scripture for things, say, empirical, which you can understand through other sources, like Pratyaksha and all of them. Where there is a limitation, and every pramana has got its own limitation, no pramana is supreme. Even Shabda has its limitations. We struggle hard. That's why we go in for different kinds of interpretation. And I don't know whether somewhere I have quoted Wittgenstein. There are two kinds of pictures, says Wittgenstein in the Tractatus. A picture in the front and a picture in the back. Beautiful statement. He is a Sutrakara. Unfortunately, this Sutrakara is misunderstood by a host of Indian scholars. But now they turn. As I told you, momentary thinking, momentary admiration, not lasting admiration. So there are two pictures, a picture in the front and a picture in the back. Similarly, in the interpretation of scriptural statement, any linguistic statement says there is the surface grammar and the depth grammar, surface grammar, depth grammar. Just as in ecology, they talk about surface ecology and depth ecology. Dr. Jayakumar spoke about ecological considerations. What is at the surface level, what is in depth. So, not being satisfied with the statement, we go in for not only for the Vachyartha, but we go in for the Lakshyartha, secondary meaning. Even then, what is conveyed by the secondary meaning must become Anubhava Vakya. Tattvamasi, we say, is the Upadesha Vakya. Aham Brahmasmi is the Anubhava Vakya. And therefore, we accept the limitations of even the Pramanas, even Shabda Pramana. No Pramana is supreme. But when a philosophical position can be constructed by means of ordinary perception and inference and all that one, there is no need to invoke what is called scripture. That is the attitude of the Sankhya. Any other question?